Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.1 Onikakushi. Last episode, we began the game, and nothing much has really happened yet, other than Keiichi almost falling headfirst onto an inkstone, which, yeah, I was told in the comments that, scrolling here opens up the text log. Interesting. I'll just open up that, so scrolling on my browser window that I have open so I can actually read the comments happens to affect the game, which is weird. So, yeah, I was told that obviously the anime cuts out a lot of content because this arc, which I'm guessing is probably somewhere between 10 and 15 hours, is just over with in 4 episodes or so in the anime, so it does cut out a lot of content. And one of the comments I got mentioned how they find it strange that, the perspectives of people who watch the anime without playing the visual novel compared to people who played the visual novel and then watched the anime. They find it interesting how people's opinions on it completely shift regarding that. And yeah, I can sort of see why, because honestly, as someone who never played the visual novel, when I first watched the anime, it did honestly feel like a complete story beginning to end. It didn't really feel like any corners were cut because, well, I didn't know what those corners would even be. Granted, it was also one of the first anime I'd ever seen, so I didn't really know much about how anime, or really TV in general, worked. I didn't really watch a lot of TV or movies growing up, so it wasn't until high school when I started watching anime that I started, actually consuming media other than video games, and even then, before high school, the only video games I really played were, Zelda games and Pokemon, and Kingdom Hearts, I suppose, but I hadn't played that for a few years until, I got my PS4 in 10th grade. I think it was 10th grade that I finally got the collection on PS4, but that's not relevant. Reading the comments. Yeah, the general opinion from anime only seems to be positive. And they go on to mention how the anime has terrible pacing that doesn't do the arcs justice, which, that's definitely interesting to hear, because although I don't remember a ton from the anime, I do remember enjoying it. I never remember being bored, but honestly, I did not have amazing taste in anime back when I first started watching anime. The first anime I watched, unless you count Pokemon as a kid, which I don't, was Future Diary, and I liked it my first time through, but looking back on it, it's kind of a mess. So, yeah. I wasn't really thinking critically about what I was watching. I was just watching it because, crazy girls and crap like that. I could go on and describe, how I initially got into anime. It's quite the story, but I'll save it for now. Then I was told that Japanese mayonnaise is actually pretty different from Western mayonnaise, which is interesting, actually. I should probably look that up. What's it made of, then? Japanese mayo. It's made of... What the fuck's it made of? Tell me what it's made of. Whoa. Okay. Soy-based vegetable oil. They don't add water. Apple or rice vinegar rather than distilled vinegar, and it uses egg yolks rather than whole eggs. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't like mayonnaise. So when I read that line about putting mayonnaise on broccoli and cauliflower, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's disgusting. But yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. Probably not very relevant to the story of the game, but still an interesting thing to know, I guess. And have cleared up. Also, I was told that character profiles were introduced in Umineko, so they're not going to be anywhere in Higurashi. Good to know. And then, yeah, a lot of trivia about the game. Like, apparently that train scene, actually, it was mentioned that that was not in the anime. So that's interesting. It says this is so wrong because that scene sets up the themes of the entire series and creates an irony later on in this arc. Which is interesting, because I have no idea what that would actually be. So, yeah. And also I was told that I should read all the tips if I can, because some of them are very essential to the story, but are only tips because they didn't fit pacing-wise anywhere in the story, so, alright, that's good to know. Then, the last comment, that I'm going to mention. Oh wait, no, there was another one that mentioned the anime as well. Yeah, this is something I forgot to mention, last episode. There were like 3 things that I wanted to say before I actually started reading. So stuff like how I'm going to have the voices off and do my own voices, etc. One of the things that I forgot to mention was that one of the reasons why I'm doing the series right now is in preparation for the new anime coming out next month. Unless it gets delayed again, but I don't think it will. So yeah, that is one of my inspirations for doing this series. I don't know how I forgot to bring that up last episode, since I was talking about the original 2006 anime quite a bit. But, yeah, 2006, damn. So yeah, the last thing that I want to bring up is a commenter actually brought up Joe Chrono. And although he's a bigger YouTuber than me, I do want to shout him out. If you've never watched his Umineko Let's Play, do it. Him and his friend, I think his friend's name is Ben, have great synergy, and they do hilarious voices for the characters in Umineko. They also, I think, are currently still doing Higurashi. I have not watched that, obviously. But yeah, their Umineko Let's Play is really, really good. So if you haven't seen it, then watch it. I can't recommend them enough. They are hilarious. But with all that out of the way, I'm going to minimize my browser window. And we're going to go back through, continue. Yeah. I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. And to top it off, that pesky mom of mine pushing a return journey errand on me just as I'm trying to leave the house. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Alright. Hello, guys. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place. Kei-chan, you're late. Sorry. The show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame that. Ooh, so that's your excuse for being late and keeping 2 girls waiting? Mi-chan, you just got here yourself. Last night's episode of A Day in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. Apparently I can't read today either. Awesome. That's right, Rena really did make a picnic. Kei-chan, after you left, Rena pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it. It was nothing, so don't worry about it, okay? This game's dialogue really likes using stars and tildes, I've noticed. It's definitely something. It's probably meant to set the tone so that, like, as soon as it shifts, it's just gonna feel even creepier, I'm guessing. She's been like this since last night, you know? Can you take responsibility for this? Alright. I am a man, after all. And I'll take responsibility. Huh? Responsibility? For what? Keiichi's much more of a horn dog than I remember him being. As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Rena we were talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess? I don't know exactly how much that weighs. When Rena was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I say 5. You're exaggerating. Keiichi-kun is a boy after all. I
thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot. Okay? Let's get going. Heave-ho!
Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunchboxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too.
I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten.
I won't forgive you if you make Rena sad. Got it? The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Alrighty. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk, bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out here. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around.
Ah, good day.
No, just a regular dude, okay. Good day. No, you would be Mayabara-kun, I believe? My two companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All of these passers-by even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid.
It's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone since there are so few people here in Hinamizawa.
So that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume it's that Mayabara fella who just moved here?
Yeah, that's how it works out.
It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this, but it was quite effective. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. It does kind of suck having everyone in an area know who you are, though, because I live in not a village as small as Hinamizawa is apparently, but I live in a town that has like 4,000 people, so not a ton. Not everybody knows everybody, but a lot of people know a lot of people, so still kind of blows. That's not the end of this nightmare.
Of course I know them. The first person we met was Old Man Takazo from the Makino bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute.
How can your hobby be bonsai? Isn't that a tree? Like watering, taking care of bonsai, or what?
Next we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting, and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Her hobbies are birdwatching and photography.
Wait. Mia. That's Takano, yeah? Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure that is, right? Unless it's a different person. I thought her given name was Mio, but I can't remember. Did you know the names of everyone we passed by? And even their profiles? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter.
Well, yeah. We're not like the city where people hardly know their neighbors.
Then let's try it out. You there, who am I?
You're Keiichi Maebara. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person. It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. Lately, you switched over to wearing boxers. Didn't you?
That's enough.
Boxers?
Enough of that! Apparently there is absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa was not a place to be trifled with. Okay. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around.
That's right. We're parading around like this after all. It'll give everyone a chance to see for themselves. That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in I can't read. In Hinamizawa. The population in Hinamizawa is shrinking, so the villagers welcome anybody who's new here.
Thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved to the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way. Oh my, good day. It's wonderful seeing you get along.
Oh, that was a girl. Okay. This lady here is Fujishima-san. Good day. Oh my, Mayabara-kun, how wonderful for you. Having a lovely girl on each arm? How are you? Getting used to life here?
Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an empathetic nod. Wait, not empathetic, emphatic, okay. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was. Good! As I looked back over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink.
So, now then, about time to have lunch, maybe? Maybe?
Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man. I'll do what I can. But it's just too much.
It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave it to this old man.
Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative.
Rena, if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with a good view. Yes! Good idea. I agree.
Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Alrighty. I think I faintly remembered a scene from the anime. Unless this is way earlier, or it was cut out, I think this is the first sign where Keiichi starts going mad, right? Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling. No, I'm guessing not then. That this is definitely not the scene I'm thinking of, because I don't think they went to the shrine.
This here is the Furude Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around.
This place. Be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Isn't it a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer.
Now then, spread out the lunchboxes, and there.
Various colored lunchboxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all of this? Hey, Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get this all down, you know? Hi, Rika.
Good afternoon.
No, Satoko too, okay? It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Well, it's like she lives here or something. I mean, I guess you don't know that, but... Mion grinned over at me. I see. This was her secret plan. The power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty.
We just had to come here since there was such a commotion. What is the meaning of this?
Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Rena.
I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property?
The temple is public grounds. It's not yours.
Keiichi is right. This is everyone's property.
Wow, Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko.
Hold on 1 second. Where's my spot?
No spot for you and nothing for you to eat.
Don't worry, there's some for you too.
None, I'll eat all of hers.
I will not allow that. Rika! Here, chopsticks.
Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Alright.
Man, really? Kei-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this. Have a plate. One for me-chan and Rika-chan, too.
Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates.
If we don't hurry, it'll all be eaten up.
That's right. Okay. Shall we commence this battle?
Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone.
Rena said as she opened up a thermos. thermos. Just then, I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. Oh, what the?
I will not allow you to have this hamburger!
Using your elbow is against the rules, Satoko!
Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules!
Okay. It was a tough battle. Blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening moves, Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand.
Ah, the last meatball!
Satoko Hojo has been bested! Nom! Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Alright, they're both dead. Arc over. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. Yeah, okay, dude, sure. You totally do that, yup. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached the point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there are so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era? Really?
It seems that long ago, people ate in silence.
Oh wait, you mean the idea of togetherness not as in people eating together, but people talking while they eat? I say.
It must have made the people preparing the food a bit sad, don't you think?
That makes sense, I guess.
It's probably because the people back then were so busy eating that they didn't have the time to compliment the flavor.
That's just you.
But, you know, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That my effort was worth it. I mean...
She blushed a little as she said that. She does that a lot.
It was delicious.
With absolutely perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. Why is it in quotes, okay? She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence.
Yeah?
After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof.
Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home. No, I mean, thank you. It was really delicious.
Rena flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you could almost hear it. I don't know why I just thought of a random scene from the anime that I remember. I think it was in either the 5th or 6th arc. I'm wondering how that scene is gonna go. I'm not gonna say what scene it is, but it's one of the most recognizable scenes from the anime, I'd say. It's... weird.
To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special.
2 apple rabbits. What? After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. Oh? What is it, Satoko? What's with that defiant look?
Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san?
Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab?
Ha 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 ha! Well then, allow me to show you.
After Satoko flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly. No?
Hey! So, Rena One-chan's lunch? Satoko thought it was yummy, too.
Satoko looked up at her powderly while talking cutesy. Okay. What? How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Rena limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Of course I was asking for the impossible. Rena glomped Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her.
Cute! Satoko is so cute. Take you home.
Swish, stab, push. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair! To think she had such a trick!
If it upsets you so much, why not reward Rena-san with some praise?
Damn it! That was a dirty trick! First of all, that wasn't even praise.
Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something much better than your superficial gimmicks?
That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it?
Kei-chan is going to be the one who does it.
What?
Why don't I have you show me then? The writhing of an old maid.
Okay. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking, very naturally and calmly. Perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right?
No. Actually, most of it, almost all of it, was frozen stuff.
Then which ones did you make fresh?
Well, it's embarrassing. Do I really have to say? Must I?
From the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Rena turned an even deeper shade of red. The words, "I can't believe it," practically written on her face.
How can you tell? How? That I made it.
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. It had your smell. Excuse me? Why the fuck all of a sudden is Dio here? Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too. I sure would like to try one of Rena's handmade apple rabbits. Or something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment... Boosh! It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits.
Please eat some, Keiichi-kun. There's plenty for you.
What kind of... Okay. Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over.
Okay. Say, Keiichi-kun.
My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another, she was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. And then Keiichi died. Again. How about them apples? Hook tight. How about them apples, Satoko? Oh, wait. Okay.
Kei-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice. How's that, Satoko? This is our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it. Such trickery. It doesn't bother me at all.
Satoko grounded her teeth, mortified. We did it! I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something.
Rika-chan, you're not eating it? Did the salt water make it too strong, maybe?
Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do.
Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel sorry for him. I want to save him.
Okay! Really? You're using blood spatter for that kind of transition? Okay. Plea. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Okay.
Cute. Tonight, I will take you home. She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all of the apples around me, gathered them up with a whip, and fixed them back up on a plate. Now they're all just fine, Kei? Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan. Kei? Kei! Rika-chan raised up Sataka's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbits shoved to her. She whispered, "This is our victory." No, okay. What? A comeback? Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there were quite as many goofy moments like this in the anime. At least outside of the OVAs. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly. Later, Rena and Kei-chan. See you tomorrow. Thanks for today, Mion. I had a great time. See you tomorrow. Satoko and Rika-chan went home as well. We parted ways nice job, me. Ways with Mion, and it ended with just Rena and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home. Thanks for coming today, Keiichi-kun. Was it fun? Yeah, lots of fun. Almost feels like a waste to go home now. Then, well, would you mind taking a little detour? Maybe? A detour? Is it far? It's a bit of a walk, but it won't take long. Since we'd been walking around all day, I must have seemed a bit tired. Is this what I think it is, Colonel Sanders? Not feeling like teasing Rena, I quietly nodded. Woods? Oh, yep, it totally is. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. There, what looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. Oh, actually, I'm starting to remember a few other plot points now. A large heap of garbage spread out off towards the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recalled it being in the newspaper. It's been quite a while. I wonder what's here. When you say it's been a while, you mean the business you had here was with this garbage pile? It's not garbage. To me, it's a pile of treasure. Rena had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. So that meant there was something cute here? Nope, I clicked off screen. Oh, a new pile! I can't wait! She descended the unstable slope with ease. I'd expect no less from a born and bred country girl. Hey, wait! I'm coming! Whoa! My city-raised self was completely pitiful. It's alright. Just stay there, Keiichi-kun. It won't take long. Rena kindly declined my accompaniment. Don't fall! Watch your step! I'm fine. This is nothing at all. Literally bounding among the heaps of trash, Rena disappeared from sight. I didn't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I just ended up waiting. Without the lively Rena around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around. Oh, I know who this is. Yeah. What's up, Tomitake? Standing there was a typical-looking photographer. He spied over at me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable. And he had a bit of an aloof air about him. Well, it didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any case. Man. Alright, what kind of voice do I want to give him? I mean, I don't think there's that many... No, actually, there's quite a few older male characters, right? There's at least
2 others I can think of. Okay, I don't know. We'll just... something deep but pleasant, probably. Whoa! You surprised me. Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line. I'm the one who's surprised here. My bad, my bad. I didn't mean to startle you. Are you from Hinamizawa? I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious gaze, he introduced himself without my prompting. I'm Tomitake. Oh, it's Take? I thought it was Taki, okay. Freelance photographer. I come to Hinamizawa from time to time. I didn't ask who you were. Quite rude to photograph someone without consent, one would think. My bad, my bad. I mainly photograph wild birds. They can't refuse, you see? So, what? You're saying I'm the same as the birds? No, well, you see, that image of a young man in the twilight was just picturesque. I apologize for trying to take your picture without asking. Adults are pretty slick. All that annoyance I felt for being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy trying to get cozy with me, except it didn't seem like Rena would be back soon. But this older guy, Tomitake-san, he didn't mind my cautious responses and continued rambling on by himself.
Keiichi-kun, sorry to keep you waiting. I'm finished now.
Rena popped her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand. You have someone with you? What would she be doing over there? That's what I wanted to know. Dunno. Maybe she's checking on that dismembered corpse that was out here long ago. Tomitake-san looked shaken up by that for a moment. Uh-oh. I responded like I would if I were talking with Rena and the others. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. Ooh.
Keiichi-kun, sorry to keep you. You were waiting a while, I guess?
I'd best leave you two lovebirds alone. Again, my apologies for startling you, Keiichi-kun. Tomitake-san chortled suggestively, then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to retort put me off a bit.
Keiichi-kun, are you angry? Why, I wonder?
It wasn't Rena's fault, so I decided to just brush it off for now. Huh. I thought you asked about the body immediately. Parts of the story are starting to come back to me. Just parts, though. How was it? Find a treasure trove?
Oh, yes! So listen. You see, there was a Colonel Randy doll.
A Colonel Randy doll? Oh, that thing. Those statues they always have out in front of that fried chicken place. That life-size dummy?
Yes, Colonel Randy. Cute. I want to take it home.
I couldn't tell how she decides what's cute or not, but, well, she seems to want it. It's garbage, right? No one would care if you just take it home, right?
It's become the base of another pile. I can't dig it out easily. There's no lampposts over there, so it'll get dark pretty soon.
Rena seemed quite down about finding a treasure and not being able to bring it back. I'll help you out, to repay you for that delicious picnic you prepared today.
Thank you.
Birds heading home to roost proclaimed that nightfall would soon be upon us.
Keiichi-kun is going to help. I can take Colonel Randy home.
Rena staggered along as if intoxicated in her dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her in a way that wouldn't take her out of her cheery state. Hey, Rena. Long ago, did something happen here? Oh, you do ask. Okay, yeah.
Seems like they were building a dam here. I don't know the details, though.
Just wondering if you knew about, an accident or something.
I don't know.
Her tone was disturbingly frank. Ooh. Sounded more like a denial than an answer. I must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Rena quickly lightened her expression.
Actually, I didn't live here until a year ago.
Huh? You transferred here too? I was sure of that.
So you see, I don't really know much from before that. Sorry.
Don't really know. Don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course it would be like that. This wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it's just like Tomitake-san said, then I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know. Hey, cicada on a tree, can you tell me about an incident that happened here recently?
Bzz, bzz, get the fuck away from me, dude.
That was a pretty short chapter. Oh, new tips. Mayabara Manor, dam site murder. Ooh, that one sounds... that one sounds like it's probably important. Alright. The Mayabara Manor. We'll start with that, I guess. Okay, we're at school. So, Kei-chan, you're not stinking rich? What is this all of a sudden? Did I come to school in a limo before? How much do you get for a monthly allowance? About $10?
My, that's a rather plebeian amount. His lunch is made up of normal stuff. He isn't rich.
What are they talking about? To be asked out of nowhere how much I get and then told that's a plebeian amount?
Sorry.
Rena seemed to pick up on my dubious expression and started giggling. Kei-chan, your house, you know, it's pretty big, yeah? So the architecture has people all around Hinamizawa calling it the Mayabara Manor, and it sort of stands out. Mayabara Manor?
Since the house is so big, everybody is gossiping, wondering exactly how rich you are.
I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. I see how it could cause some misunderstandings.
From my deduction, I wager they spent too much money on building the house, and that is why they are now broke. Being broke. How very, very unfortunate.
Rika-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar. Yeah, sorry for ruining your imagination, but we aren't millionaires or poor. We're the image of a normal, average household. You can't call it normal with that huge house. The entranceway is all grand, and the gate is large enough for a large truck to get through. That's not normal at all. They do say the bigger your house, the more prosperous you are. I just remembered another plot point regarding the line, the gate is large enough for a large truck to get through. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studio is in it too. That is a huge house, what the? There are a bunch of different workshops, and lots of his works are hung up in different places. All of them are huge too. For those reasons, the family actually uses only a third of the house for day-to-day living. He planned it out so people and cars could come in to see the gallery he opens up in his house. He opens up in the house someday. By the way, the entranceway Mion is talking about is the one for the studio and is normally sealed off. The entranceway the Mayabara family actually uses is a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks on the outside. I'd really like a chance to explore Kei-chan's house. Claiming not to be rich, but having a home like that. What could be hidden there?
Maybe there's something cute hidden. They probably had no money to purchase furniture, so it's filled with Spartan rooms. If there are carpeted rooms, I would love to try rolling around on the floor. That'd be great. So great. I want to roll around too.
Seems like their imaginations were just piling on. Well, sometime in the near future, it wouldn't be too bad to invite them all to my house. Dad is a sucker for the ladies, so he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendoed as the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. Okay. And this one, which is probably super important, the Dam Site Murder/Dismemberment Newspaper Edition. So it's just a newspaper article, no character dialogue? From the June XX 1979 edition. Oh. Wait, no, this takes place in 83. Okay. The Shishibone... Is it Shishibone or Shishibone? I'll say Shishibone. City Okinomiya Police Station. Ooh. June X... late at night. Suspects X were arrested on suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender, X, has been added to wanted lists nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Hinamizawa Dam construction site workroom on the X at 9 p.m., where they are suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer, X, as a group, dismembering his body and hiding it. On the X at 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shishibone City Hospital in which a male suspect alluded to having murdered Mr. X. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on suspicion of murder and mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his trail. The motive is purported to be a drunken verbal dispute, during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, as there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies, the investigation is ongoing. Interesting. Okay. Do I continue then? I guess I will. We're only at 45 minutes after all. A Colonel Randy? Of course that's right up her alley. I understand her wanting to take home Satoko and Rika-chan, but I can't understand the Colonel Randy. What's so good about that four-eyed geezer? Probably better to hear it from Rena, don't you think? She'll probably just say, because it's so cute, though. Does Rena often go to the construction site to hunt for treasure? Every now and then she says she's going to have a look. But a girl her age rummaging around in garbage is, well... If Rena enjoys it, then I think it's fine. What were they doing over there? Dam construction? It had been bugging me since yesterday, like an itch I couldn't scratch. It was cancelled a long time ago. Everyone gathered together and fought against it. Hearing an ominous word like fought come from Rika-chan's mouth startled me. That's right. It was unbelievable. They said Hinamizawa would be sunk into the reservoir and we had no say in the matter. So, I'm only able to be here because the protest succeeded. Lucky you don't live in America, y'all would have been put down by police, huh? I'm sorry. I didn't keep you, did I? Did I? My deepest apologies, Keiichi-san. Took me a while to powder my nose. Satoko, wait to use the can until you really have to go. It's a lot easier since it shoots right out. Okay, dude. He! How dare you speak that way to a maiden of unparalleled beauty such as myself? Who was she calling a maiden? If Satoko really was a maiden, she wouldn't have reacted like that. The usual hijinks ensued. Now then, gentlemen, in accordance with the rules of our society, I bring a point to discussion. He, Keiichi Maebara-kun, wishes to be included as a member in our activities. What say you? Rena has no objection. No! I wonder if the likes of this peasant is up to the task. Me and Satoko both approve. The three that Mion had queried voiced their approval. A unanimous decision. Congratulations, Keiichi Maebara-kun. I present you the honor of being allowed to take the entrance exam for our club. Start from the beginning. I didn't say I would join. What club is this? What our club does, you see, in order to cope with our complicated society, we perform various activities under different sets of rules. Sometimes they are in your favor, and sometimes they work against you. I'm pretty weak, so I'd prefer if you didn't single me out. Let's try to get along. You're so naive, Rena.
The law of the jungle is survival of the fittest. This was starting to sound a bit sketchy. So what kind of club was it? To sum it up, it's a club where you play games together. Okay. Thanks for the Windows notification. Rika-chan was the only one to answer my question with a pertinent response. So basically this club put Mion's hobby of collecting games to use, by playing the various games that Mion had hoarded every day. It seemed that, depending on the day, there were prizes for the winner, or a penalty for the person who finished in last place. Yeah, weird penalties, I remember that. I'll make this clear right now. We aren't playing house here. You should treat each win or loss as if your life depends on it, alright? What's wrong with just having fun? Don't make it sound so crazy. The first rule of our society, aim only for first place. Going at it half-assed just because it's a game is not allowed. Rule number 2 of our society. For that reason, you are obligated to make all possible efforts. The way Satoko said it, it sounded like she was saying, use any means necessary. Of course, I will do my best too. I'm pretty weak, but I'm trying my best. I knew what they were trying to say. In a game where everybody is aiming for the top, it's rather unsportsmanlike to just play for fun. Alright, then I too will go all out! With that, I was finally ready for the Rite of Initiation, my baptism into the club. A word of warning, Kei-chan. Rena can get pretty nasty. This initiation looks like it's going to be rough. Mion began fishing around in the student lockers in the back of the room. They have the games here at school? Well, it's club equipment, so I guess that's fine. Complicated games would put Kei-chan at a disadvantage. So today, we'll play a game that you should be familiar with. How about a standard card game, like Old Bachelor? Alright, let's do this. Can't really get into it unless there's a penalty. This time the loser will be sentenced to having their face drawn on. What do you think? Whoa, it won't be a permanent marker, right? Right? Permanent? She wants to draw on our faces with permanent marker? That is perfect! Satoko cheered the idea on. She didn't even flinch at the thought of such a severe penalty. Seemed like she was raring to go. If it's going to be like this, then I can't lose either. Then I'll just cut the deck and start dealing. Old Bachelor is pretty much the same as Old Maid. Okay, I thought it was just called that for copyright issues. Okay. There's only one difference. There's no Joker. In its place, one card is pulled out at the start, meaning there will be one card without a match left over at the end. You don't know which card will end up being the Joker. It's a pretty thrilling game. I've never actually played Old Maid, so I don't know the rules. I'll take out the card now. Mion took out one card and left it face down on the table. Everybody stared at the card intently. Well, it'll be pretty obvious in the end game. No way to tell at the start. But the rest of them were very serious. They didn't seem as relaxed as I was. They compared their cards to the one face down, all the while gauging each other's reactions. It was as if they could see what the face down card was. Yeah, I do remember that. They have like nicks in the backs of the cards so they know which card is which always. No, it couldn't be. This deck is pretty worn out. No way. Can everyone tell by the scratches what the card on the table is? Remember the second rule of our society. Keiichi-san must try his hardest to win as well. A number of cards are quite unique. Keiichi-kun should be able to remember them pretty quickly. She said that so matter-of-factly. Suits me fine. Don't think a little thing like that can be your crutch. I lashed out angrily, but it was rather obvious I was at a disadvantage. After all, they'd gone so far as to memorize the wear and tear for each individual card. This wasn't a simple game of Old Bachelor. If this was a test, then they were playing with the answer sheet in front of them. Bring it! I'll take advantage of your carelessness and beat you at your own game. That baseless confidence would soon be crushed. How about I tell you your hands starting from the right? 3, 4, 9, Jack, Queen. Ah! By the way, the Bachelor is the Jack of Diamonds.
Ah!
I can tell what they are even if you switch them around. I am out!
Ah! I thought I was prepared but for it to be this brutal, just overwhelming. Demons. You're all demons!
Rena isn't a demon, are you? Sorry, Keiichi-kun. This is the 3 of Hearts, isn't it? I'm out.
Ah! Not even a hint of mercy. Rena, even Rika-chan. These club activities weren't to be trifled with. An alumnus of this club would definitely survive in the cruelest of situations. If our entire class had self-detonating collars strapped to their necks and were dropped into a deathmatch on a deserted island, these guys would probably take to it like fish to water. Okay. I can already picture their joy as they hunt down each of their classmates.
It's a lowest point system. The order itself dictates the points. Whoever has the lowest point total wins. Since Keiichi finished last, he has 5 points.
There's already a 5 marked down on my scoreboard.
I think it's unfair to Keiichi-kun if we don't use a new deck.
It's fine, it's fine. Kei-chan is a man after all. He can turn the tables even if the odds are stacked against him, right?
It's fitting for a lowly peasant to scamper home and soak their pillow in tears, don't you think?
A petite hand laid itself on top of my head, which was trembling from uncontainable frustration. It was Rika-chan's.
Keep on fighting. Yeah.
Thanks to Rika-chan's words of encouragement, I was able to calm down. You need to be calm, especially when you're cornered. That's the power I could muster during this crisis. Think clearly, Keiichi Maebara. Take your time and look at the cards carefully. It's just as Rena said. Several of the cards have their own distinct markings making them stand out. Memorizing them should be pretty simple. Think about what you can do in this situation. Try everything in your power to improve your chances of victory.
Wow, great Keiichi-kun, just like that!
I covered the uniquely marked cards with my hands or other cards, arranging them in such a way that they couldn't be seen. Yeah, that makes sense.
The one with the ripped corner should be the 5, and I'm out.
I couldn't let any of those precious hints slip by me. All information is a weapon. Then it was my turn. Satsuko fanned out her cards for me. You see? I want the 7. Is it this one?
I wonder about that. You won't know unless you take it.
There was a bit of dismay in her expression, like she doesn't want it taken. That kind of expression. I won't let that momentary lapse slip by me. I know! It's this one! Got it! 7 of spades! A cheer of ooh rang out.
What is this? The 7 should be the hardest one of all to tell apart.
It wasn't from memorizing the markings. Those slight changes in their expressions as I was selecting a card were enough.
Can't hide it from me, Kei-chan. This mark means it's a 2 of diamonds.
What? She was startled by her own misread. Of course everyone else was too.
Oh, it's rare that Mi-chan gets a card wrong.
No! Kei-chan, could it be you? They told them apart by different marks. That mark was a nail scratch. So, I put a new one on it. Ooh.
Are you saying he disguised it as the 2 of diamonds? What an impressive show of wit! Keiichi landed a queen hit.
Quap, quap, quap.
That's great, Keiichi-kun. That was an incredible match, you know?
Having defeated the Forerunner, Mion, my brilliant battle left me ecstatic. But by total points, it was already set in stone that Mion would win and I would finish last. I laughed haughtily, selecting the tone of my voice carefully to get on Mion's nerves. Well, I'm going to end up the loser, but I'm satisfied with one-upping Mion at the end. That should be the proverbial slap in the face to Mion, who is at the top already and ensured victory. Even if Kei-chan gets first place this round, he'll still end up last place overall. Don't you hate that? Of course I do. Let's have a duel. One chance.
If you win, then we'll swap first and last place. How about it? You up for it?
She fell for it. A chance for an upset that wouldn't be possible without goading her into it.
One chance, you say? Let me hear the rules.
Mion discarded 2 cards from her hand and replaced one with the Joker card that was on the table, then shuffled the resulting hand behind her back.
The card in my right or the card in my left? If Kei-chan can guess which hand the Joker's in, then he wins.
When you turned around just now, you didn't pull out the Joker, did you?
If you lose, I'll show the card in the other hand. That okay?
The other 3 gulped nervously at this unexpected turn of events. Alright, you've got it! Mion grasped 1 card in each hand and thrust them out at me. First, I needed to inspect them closely. The card on the right had no distinguishing marks. I couldn't tell which one it was.
Which one, I wonder? Keiichi-kun, be careful!
Yeah, of course. This is my chance for a big comeback! Looking closely at the card on the left, I saw a little wear. It wasn't one I hadn't seen before.
Ha! That card is...
I didn't let that bit from Satoko slip by me. Mion clucked her tongue. I didn't recognize the mark on the left card from the small number that I had memorized. I didn't know what the left card was, but I could tell from Satoko's reaction that the card had already appeared during the game. Since it had already appeared before, that meant that it definitely wasn't the Joker.
Ooh. Kei-chan thinks it's the one on the right. Will you choose that one then? Will you?
The left card definitely wasn't the Joker. If I could trust that theory, then I should have been able to declare that the card to the right was the Joker. Even without Mion's taunting, the one on the right was the most suspicious. But wasn't it a bit too rash to decide based solely on Satoko's reaction? More carefully. Ah! I remember now! That mark, the left card, no doubt about it. The 7 of clubs!
It's the 7 of clubs, I see.
I've won! The card on the left was the 7 of clubs. So that meant the card on the right was the Joker! And then, just before my hand touched the right card, I froze. I would expect no less from you. There was a wave of murmurs amongst the onlookers at my sudden halt, right before I confirmed the right card was the Joker.
Huh? What could Keiichi-san possibly be saying? I mean, the left one is... Shh.
Nope.
Ooh. What makes you so certain that the right one isn't the Joker, Kei-chan?
Mion let loose an unexpected question. Everyone else was baffled. I don't know what the card on the right could be, but I know that the one on the left is the 7 of clubs.
Then, doesn't that leave the right one as the Joker? One of them has to be the Joker, right?
Yeah, one of those is the Joker, right?
Keiichi has good intuition. Huh? Rika-chan, what do you mean by...
So basically, the 7 of clubs, I discarded that by matching it with Satoko's 7 of spades earlier. Everyone's attention snapped to the discard pile at the same time. The truth of the matter couldn't be discerned from that sloppy pile. So that means, Mion pocketed one of the discarded cards, then aligned it over the left card. And that means...
I see. I get it. This left card is being disguised as the 7 of clubs, right?
It was the first time since the start of the match that a shadow ran across Mion's expression, and I didn't let that slip by. Then, with a grand flourish, I declared it loudly. Oh, the Joker is... the left one! It was an intense moment. That 1 second felt like an eternity for everyone there. Breaking that silence, the first one to speak was Mion.
Being the first president of this club, I've been witness to a variety of performances. Kei-chan, yours is the best.
The best of the best of the best! That was probably the greatest compliment Mion could give. Mion accepted her defeat, dropping the cards from both hands. My comeback victory! Rika-chan placed her hand on my head and began petting it, congratulating me on my victory.
Huh? Rika-chan is...
Rena and Satoko gaped at us, as if they had seen a ghost. What is it, Rena? It's not as if I cheated or anything, right? This was fair and square!
Rika only pet someone on the head to console them.
Huh? What's the meaning of
At that moment, Rena let out a small shriek.
Keiichi-kun, this is how it was?
You know, Kei-chan, I thought you'd read into it that far. Everyone froze. No, it was just me. It was a gamble. If you had just jumped to conclusions like a little brat, then I would have lost. It was the answer everyone was certain about. Mion picked up the card from the losing hand. Kei-chan, you know, you should take pride in this loss. She turned it around. That was the card that proclaimed the victor of this duel. The card under the 7 of clubs. Unbelievable. It was the 2 of diamonds. It was a setup behind the setup. If I just picked the right one without reading so deeply into it. I, Mion Sonozaki, as the club president, do accept Keiichi Maebara's membership into our club. As I slumped to my knees, dazed, everybody let out a round of applause for the excellent effort I gave despite my defeat. The match is now over. Today's victor is me, Mion Sonozaki, and our exalted loser is Keiichi Maebara. Everyone made a commotion, applauding cheerfully. I felt I was bested, but I was so soundly beaten that it unexpectedly felt rather refreshing.
When Michan put that little trick behind her back, I got so excited, thinking she's going to do it again. When Keiichi-san stopped a moment before touching the correct card, I thought he fell for it.
He fell for it quite handily. Huh? Hey, wait. All of them knew from the start and still got so excited so earnestly?
Everyone got excited to make it more fun.
You're all demons! You monsters! Now then, Kei-chan, it's time for your penalty. Since it's your first day participating, I'll go easy, okay? It would be a problem if you refused to come to school. The other 3 members held down my arms and shoulders firmly. Mion approached, licking her lips. Her right hand went to pull something out of her pocket. That's a felt-tip marker, and it's a giant permanent one. Okay, here we go. She took the cap off the marker and brought it slowly up to my face while I was immobilized. No! I let out my death throes. Ha, GG no re. Get beamed, Keiichi. No, get fucked, Keiichi. Haha. That was funny. There's definitely a lot more light and fluffy moments in the visual novel than there were in the anime. The anime just wanted to cut straight to the action. It was weird. So yeah, I think I'm going to end things here for now. I'm definitely enjoying this so far. I am definitely enjoying this so far. It's fun. However, when it gets fucking creepy, ooh, I'm already scared, but oh well. That's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!